All right, time to construct our quarterback.
All right.
So Pete has thrown together 8 attributes here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we have a picture of it too, Kristen? You're back there.
There
it
he
is.
is.
There's C-3PO, ready to be built. So here are the 6. We got arm, touch, accuracy, mechanics, throwing on the move, best running ability, decision making. So there's the brain.
Yeah.
Most ideal size. So that's an overall thing. Most impressive character leadership. Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
So you
I
take
think
a little bit of everyone.
Pete asked me before. He goes, "Is there anything else we're missing right with these? If there was one more, maybe toughness in the pocket, pocket." Awareness, whatever, something like that. Maybe we're missing.
Let's make that
the only thing.
Yeah, that's tough.
Right
yeah.
there, but we'll see.
Can we
I don't
add
know where
it? Can
you
we
do
add-
it. And I'm not saying we have to. I'm just throwing out some food for thought here as far as where my brain goes.
Give him a 9. Put it right at the heart, the chest, right? Because how much heart you got to stand in there.
You gotta have some. You gotta have a heart, right?
pocket.
And a chest of armor to take those shots for sure. I think that's a good spot.
So we'll add that. We got 9.
Yeah.
C-3PO's got 9 characteristics. And these are all the quarterbacks you've evaluated. Again, to refresh, in case anyone missed the Monday pod, go back and watch the Monday pod. But how many quarterbacks did you look at overall, in totality?
I think it was 20, right?
20.
I think it was 20 on
so
the
you
dot.
can use any of those 20. Even some guy late or whatever.
Well, the hardest thing about some of these things, and especially in a year like this, right, is that we have a guy that is really elite in a lot of these areas.
So 1 through 9,
where
Cam
I'm
Ward.
afraid that, yes, and I'm going to try to be a little more judicious here with everybody. I am. But yes, Cam Ward is very special in a lot of these areas. He definitely is. Right? This is an exercise where if it was last year's draft, we would have had a lot of fun because you would have been like, damn, we're matching together these top 5 or 6 guys. We got them all over the place.
So, Pete, great idea. You should have done it a year ago. You messed up big time, as always. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
if it's a lot of Cam Ward, that's right.
fine.
Then it's Cam Ward, and I think it speaks to how good he is and how much better he is maybe than the rest of the group that we're used to seeing here this year.
All right, so let's get into the first one, and the first one's strongest arm.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about this on Monday.
Right.
So where would you go here?
I mean, it is Cam Ward. Cam Ward. So this is where it's always interesting. If you made me like Jalen Milroe might be in that conversation,
okay,
right? But Jalen Milroe's ability to control the ball as he throws those type of footballs is not on the same level of Cam Ward,
and that's got to be part of it. So I was like, well, that's accuracy, but if you don't have a usable cannon, that's an issue.
That's where it's tough. Exactly right, but. There's a part of me there that I still think about like, damn, should I put Jalen Milroe? It's not that off target that it's just crazy, right? But no, I think I'm still going to go Cam Ward right there. Cam Ward, I think that was the most unexpected thing about his game that I wasn't aware of on TV, is that he could throw the ball when he needed to and just put that extra oomph on it, or those extra few miles per hour in a moment when need be. I don't know if I really realized he had that aspect in him quite to the extent that he does until I turned on the film. It was one of the most pleasant surprises, actually, of the film.
And we can give credit to Jalen Milroe as second. He would be second and maybe has a little bit stronger arm, but maybe not as usable as Cam Ward.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I think that's a very good way to say it. And then other guys that I don't know if there's any guys that are after that I would say that are in that class that I would even like put them close to that. Kyle McCord maybe would be the other guy that I would say would be Kyle McCord and Shedeur, I think, are your next guys on the list where I'd go power throws. It's one of those two guys that are the best at doing that.
Touch accuracy. Who can thread the needle, who can layer the pass over the middle linebacker playing zone.
There's a few that come to mind. Let's flesh this out a little bit. Again, this is another thing where I would say Cam Ward is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Cam Ward's ability to drop balls, you saw me making fun of it the other day. I think I did it on the show. Backpedaling away from traffic and then just being like, boom, like little T-Rex arm, and the ball goes like 25 yards and just drops like down out of the sky.
That's a compliment.
That's
you
a
just
compliment.
Gave him a compliment.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Okay.
So he is really good at that. But let me just throw some other guys, too, that are really phenomenal. Quinn Ewers' touch is real.
Okay.
His ability to drop a ball in a spot, throw it over a linebacker, layer, all of that. He's got a little bit of that gifted, like I've talked about with Cam Ward, can flick it, can do that type of stuff, right? Jackson Dart's touch is not bad either. It's not. He's shown the ability to do that at a pretty high level, right? And that, to me, again, Jackson Dart's throws down the middle that we talked about, the intermediate 10 to 20-yard throws, there's a lot of them, right? But I'm not sure still if he throws the touch ball, he throws a little bit more of the banana, like it's a drive with a little bit. It's not the laser line drive. It's got a little pep on it, but it still can get up and down in a hurry, right? So, I'm sorry, but touch, I'm still going Cam Ward here.
That's
all right?
fine.
That's
no need to apologize.
All right. I know. It's like I don't know why I am apologizing, but I am right now.
This will just show how much you like Cam Ward and how much you think he's separated himself from the other players. All right. So what about cleanest mechanics? And this is right up your alley because you have identified quarterbacks in the past, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, things you don't like. That
have issues, right?
With the way they throw. And you're like, this is even Trevor Lawrence. Guys like him, red flags.
Definitely.
The way he throws,
issues
can't repeat his delivery.
Right.
Then you have accuracy issues.
Right. Like, we talked about Jalen Milroe the other day, the front shoulder being too wide open, not getting any turn with your upper body. Then that makes it an all-arm throw, and that's why you see the ball go everywhere.
Now, to be clear, there's not one way to throw a football,
no,
right?
There's not one way to throw a football.
But you need the biomechanics to be hitting in a proper way.
In a proper way. There's not one way to throw a football, but in general, most great throwers have, there's three, four, five things where I'd say they all do these things. Their arm, it might come out at a different angle or whatever else, but the way they use their body is similar, right?
So what would that include?
Well, that would include the ability to turn opposites and turn your shoulder to the target, maybe past the target, okay? Here's the screen, right? At times I might tell my son, show me the name on the back of your jersey, right? Think about John Elway back in the day. He's like this, right? He's about to throw a laser down the field, right? Most good quarterbacks get in that position. You saw Brady used to do that. You see the quarterbacks doing their little hip things now, right, before the game.
Yeah.
Rodgers gets in that position. If you think about Mahomes, you see him like this a lot, kind of laying on his back shoulder doing that. That's one big thing. Having a good base underneath you with your feet and popping that back leg underneath you. Usually all great throwers are that. The arm angle thing I talked about,
90.
not letting this angle break, right? You might throw it sidearm, but the angle stays the same. It
Don't get it
matter.
too far away from your body.
Don't let it get away from your body. Don't let it get extended. Your arm shouldn't be extended. And there's always what do I want to say? An outlier.
Sure.
Like Kyler Murray's a great thrower. He lets his arm angle break a little bit. He's rare. And it's his baseball background, and he's an incredible athlete where he gets it done. But it's rare that somebody can do this to the utmost way he does it, right? But I think those are kind of the things that – and then the rotation as you throw.
I was going to say that.
Right.
That seems like no matter what sport you're talking about.
The rotation
golf,
is crucial.
Baseball, hitting,
good quarterbacks,
throwing.
Again, on this cut right here, if it's turning and throwing, the head usually doesn't really move much, right? Then you might see guys every now and then where they throw and they go forward. Right? They go forward with the throw. Usually not a good thrower. Not getting the torque, not getting the turn, not coming around the body the way it should. You're not going to be able to throw the ball. So those are some of the key things that usually all good throwers have in common. And then just where the arm goes and actually spits the ball out. Okay, those are things that's Cam Ward throws it a little sidearm. I'm not going to go, hey, Cam, change the way you put your arm. I know you throw it awesome and perfect and you hit every bullseye you want, but I just want 4 degrees higher on your arm angle. No, that's where, the smart coaches know don't mess with that type of stuff.
Cool. Awesome. Right. So thank you for that.
No
that
problem.
Sets the table for the player you think this year has the cleanest, most repeatable mechanics.
The most repeatable mechanics, and I think
utilizing all his different body parts and muscles for strength and
Ewers has pretty good mechanics other than he doesn't pop his legs. Jackson Dart's mechanics are good other than when I told you he kind of reaches for more power or trying to throw the ball down the field. He loses his arm. So pure mechanics, okay? I'll give a little change up here. And I'm going to say this one more time. Shadour's mechanics are good. His motion is a little different. That it's over the top, right?
Okay.
It's a little more over the top. He kind of gets the shoulder to the target and then just kind of goes over the top with the throwing motion instead of coming around. It's a little different, but you can't argue with the accuracy. I'm going to go with Kyle McCord here.
Ooh.
This is to me, Kyle McCord's basic mechanics are flawless, right? Now, he's a little robotic in that he always does that, right? That was part of my breakdown. Not enough sidearm, some of that stuff, like backyard football type of throws, that needs to improve.
Yeah.
But I think when you just sit there, and if I had a coach like, hey, Johnny quarterback from the high school, right? Here's a good way. Just watch this guy and how he drops and puts his body in position and does all the things I kind of just talked about. McCord does it really well. He really does. Cam Ward does it really well, too. Let me just say, once again, he does it really well. But he might do it a different way. Like, he might do it one way one time, and then the next time, for no reason, he might just go, hey, I'm just going to hang on my back foot here this time and just fling it over there. Because he's that gifted, right? So he sometimes would not be exactly what you want to teach because he's next level. So McCord is where I'll go with the basic throwing mechanics.
And is it fair to say, too, that a guy like Cam Ward, because he does all those backyard things, it's like, wow, he does stuff that other quarterbacks can't. But those same things can also get you into trouble at times.
100.
Because you start to lose it, or you're doing it a little too much.
Exactly.
You've lost your mechanics a little bit here.
Yeah, you get too cute. You get too out of rhythm, whatever else. You try to, hey, I want to flip my feet and just sling this sidearm real quick. Oh, man, I missed it. Like, okay, yeah, but, I know you hit it a lot of the times and you're gifted. Right, but don't be a showman, just be a machine. Right, there is some of that, and I think he has the right blend of it too. He's not one that gets too crazy with it.
All right, so what about when you have to move? A clean pocket, maybe it's Kyle McCord who's got those most repeatable, best mechanics, but it's not always clean.
No,
you got rush.
You got to rush. You got to
guys
deal with
making
that.
$20 million trying to sack you.
Ewers is very good on the run.
Best throwing on the move.
Right, Ewers is really good on the run. We talked about that. His arm, his flexibility in his arm is nice. Cam Ward, again, of course, is phenomenal. Jackson Dart was better than I expected on the run, but it wasn't wow. Shador is damn good on the run, but I think the guy that takes the cake here is Jalen Milroe. This is where I will go with Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
Jalen Milroe makes a few throws during the year on the run that you go, wait, let me rewind that again. Did he really just throw that far and that hard on the run like that? So if I had to go with one guy there, that's the one I'd probably go with in that department there, because his ability to spin it left or right, whatever way he's running, and the amount of RPMs he can put on the ball all together is pretty damn impressive. So I'll go with Milroe in that department.
How does Jalen Milroe compare to Lamar Jackson when they were coming out as throwers of the football? Because both of those guys were discussed as runners and maybe quarterback's not even their best position.
Yeah, right.
So,
this is where I fought against this stuff. This is because when I first saw it, I was like, this kid can really, for Lamar. When I first turned on the film, I was like, this kid can really throw it. Like, this is natural. This is like, he doesn't need to think about it. You could tell he gets his body in pretty good positions. There was a few things mechanically where you're like, okay, yeah, he's got to fix that. He used to let his feet get real close together and stuff like that. But you could see with the mechanics and the motion that it was second nature to him. So he was more trustworthy than Jalen Milroe, let alone I just think he was a more naturally gifted player. Lamar had a little bit more of like what we say with the Cam Ward. I think he was so gifted at times, he was like, wait, I'm going to throw over here. I'm going to throw over here. He's not open. Oh, wait, there's somebody open over there? Well, I'm not even going to flip my feet. I'll just throw a little sidearm, little rocket over there and just get it done, right? And he's special that way. He did not get the credit he deserved in that department because of his athletic ability, and he was from South Florida, and he wasn't the prototypical guy we see behind, the podium at the quarterback position. And I think people doubted that a little bit. And obviously he's proven everybody wrong.
Yeah. And
just a little bit.
No, totally. Yeah. And Jalen Milroe compared to him is just,
it's Milroe's like RPMs on the football and stuff like that. He could go throw the ball like with Lamar. You wouldn't sit there and go, oh, Lamar's arm's so much stronger than him. Definitely not like that. Milroe's not as fast as Lamar was coming out. Lamar was special fast. Lamar is the only quarterback ever that will threaten Michael Vick as one of the fastest quarterbacks you ever saw. That was amazing. And Milroe is a phenomenal athlete. I would guess he runs 4.4 flat or something like that. But I think in their prime, like Lamar was probably like 4.3 flat with like elite change of direction quickness ability, right? And Milroe's not nearly as quick and shifty as Lamar is. I mean, think about some of those runs we saw early on in Lamar's career. 360s, breaking ankles, doing stuff like that. It was pretty unreal with what we saw.
So while not up to the level of Lamar Jackson, maybe still the best in this draft class. Number 5 is best running quarterback.
Well, that's Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
That's Jalen Milroe. That is. And
but is a guy like Riley Leonard?
He's Damn good. I mean, he is. You're going to be able to run
the ballpark?
All kinds of stuff here with him. But Dylan Gabriel's running was damn impressive. This is a class that was definitely more pocket passer than scrambler and do that, right? So, yeah, oddly enough, I'm going Jalen Milroe twice in a row with probably being nice and throwing on the move by giving it to him, because it's probably another area I could have gone with Cam Ward, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the overall how many throws on the move, right, that are made during a game, nobody does it more than Cam Ward. He does it so much it's like you don't even notice it. Oh, he just kind of moved in the pocket and he's sliding. Oh, and he just throws it kind of as he's running this way and throws it sidearm that way. It might not be that full out sprint all the time, but he's really damn gifted at it.
Well, maybe Shedeur Sanders pops up on C-3PO with number 6. Smartest decision making. Is this a spot where Shedeur can get in there, or is it yet another Cam Ward?
I know. Shedeur's decision making is certainly good. Shedeur's decision-making is so good that, one of my things with him is just it was a little too conservative, right? But as far as, overall not putting your team in a bad spot, doing something stupid to put them behind, and which is, I think, the way he had to play a little bit because he realized the rest of the team wasn't great. I'm sure that's what his dad was telling him in his ear, and some of the other coaches, hey, we're not good enough to overcome turnovers and do stuff like that. Our defense, we're lucky if we win today in a shootout. If you turn it over, we're going to be in trouble, right? So I do think part of that was the way he played. Tyler Shook, of course, is a really good decision maker as well. He'd be one that you'd throw in that. Jackson Dart is certainly not going to throw anything away from him there in that department. But, this is one where I do think it's Shedeur. I do. Shedeur's decision making, I have no problem. He's a quick processor, gets it out quick, right? Oddly enough, I don't have Shedeur. I know this is the first one. Shedeur is probably towards the top in all of these. He just hasn't been the top guy, right? And again, sometimes you're not the top guy in any way.
Yeah.
You're just good at everything. That's a good thing. But yeah, and Pete's going, that's the scouting report on him a little bit. It is, yeah. It definitely is. I think some people just go, hey, he does everything good. What's the great thing, right? And I understand that talk totally. But yeah, I'll go smartest decision making, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, I like that one. I think I'm good with that.
But hard to separate the few quarterbacks there.
Yeah, because Shook is very good. He does a lot of good stuff on that side of the ball. Like I said, Quinn Ewers, you get to see him process a lot in the pocket. Not that it's just he's got protection. He can go through the reads and do that. There's like we talked about with Shedeur, there's some games where you can go, he never got protected long enough to go to the third read other than 3 or 4 pass plays the whole game. And that's where it's a little unfair with him in that department sometimes.
Well, this one might be hard to separate the quarterbacks because I believe when we were going through them, they were all 6'2", 220.
Yeah.
Almost all of these quarterbacks are the same size. So 7 is most ideal size.
The ideal size, Shook is really kind of the biggest guy, right? Shook is what, 6'5", if I remember correctly? Around there?
He is 6'5", 220. Yeah,
6'5",
so he's got a couple
220.
Inches on all of them, basically.
Good size.
Yeah.
But
is that necessarily better?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't. No, I mean, the pure best body is Jalen Milroe. Nobody's got a better body than Jalen Milroe. He's built like he's a running back in the NFL. That's rare to have.
You know what's funny? It's he's 6'2", 220.
Right.
Cam Ward 6'2", 220.
Yes.
Shedeur, what's Shedeur? Is he
6'2",
6'2",
right?
210, 215.
Yep, exactly. It's very similar that way.
But you can have the same height and weight and also be built
differently. Right. Well, we've had these conversations, right? Not all 6'3", 250 is the same. That's why we were talking about, remember before the combine, I was like, that's why I like going.
Yeah.
Because it's there's difference in 6'3", 250 with all these different guys and all that.
And it's not necessarily muscular is better either, because you don't like your quarterbacks rocked up.
You don't want them rocked up. You definitely don't want that. But let's see. So
is Jalen a little rocked up?
He's pretty rocked up.
Ooh, that might be not a good thing then.
He is pretty rocked up. There's definitely, but I think ideal size, body type, all of that. I like Jalen Milroe's body.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I think I'm going to go with it. I am.
I mean, I'm not gonna I almost said I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but that's a little weird thing to say about this situation. But I'm not gonna do that to you, because I have heard a little bit where he maybe. I think it was
too tight.
Yeah,
too
maybe he's too in
tight.
love with weight room.
Well,
right? Which is something that you have called out, like a Will Levis in years past.
I hear it. There's definitely concern. I will say, with all these guys, all their bodies are underwhelming to me this year. Not that you need to be. I don't want you to be rocked up, right? But I will say that I wish they were a little hardened. All of them, almost all of them. I'm dead serious.
Interesting.
Even into Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward's body a lot. But do I wish it was a little harder? Right? Again, I'm not saying I want biceps and triceps and be shredded, but there is a fine line there in finding that blend of like, wait, I have enough armor on me, I'm staying healthy and strong and doing all that, and then wanting to stay loose and flexible and pliable and have the arm be able to do everything you want that way. There is a fine line there, and I would say these guys so far are a little bit on the softer side than maybe I would like.
All right, that is 3 though. Jalen Milroe.
I know,
he is
as you're
taking
sitting
over
here,
your
right?
C-3PO.
Damn, what's going on here?
Morphing into Jalen Milroe. Number 8 is most impressive character leadership. Now you had the benefit of talking to a lot of these guys, getting a sense of their vibe. You've heard stories of how they've related to their teammates and what their coaches thought of them, what other coaches maybe are thinking about them.
This is a tough one. I know Cam Ward's an incredible leader. I've heard it from everybody.
Yeah.
I've heard it from everybody. So that's he's amazing that way. Jalen Milroe in person is phenomenal. So is Jackson. I mean, there's nobody here in this group, and I'm being dead serious, and I've said this, it was a very impressive group as far as the way they handle themselves and how they do that. I didn't talk to Kyle McCord, right? Now, he's worked with my family, and I've never met him, but I know him, right? Or I know of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Riley Leonard here.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'll go with someone off the board.
I like that.
All right. I'll go with Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard just has things in the right perspective, right? And I think when you couple that with how much the spotlight was on him this year, how much scrutiny he went under.
Sure.
He kept the positive vibes. He continued to lead the football team. He blocks out the outside noise. He said that. He doesn't pay attention to social media. He doesn't do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I found his way to be pretty damn good, and I need to change up some guys here.
No, totally. And I think you can. He led his team to the national championship game. He's got definitely a different vibe. It's like a youthful kind of boyish vibe at times.
It definitely
it's not
is.
Like
It's
that grown man.
Exactly right.
But.
Exactly right. No, it is. It is. It's still young schoolboyish to a degree.
Little bit, yeah.
You're right. You're just damn, I don't know. Has anybody told him that bad things happen in the world sometimes? I don't know if anybody's told them that yet.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that.
Right.
But his teammates really respond to him. All right, number 9 here, the one we added.
Ooh.
Right at the heart, pocket toughness and awareness.
Wow. Well, the ability to move in the pocket and do that stuff, again, would be Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cam Ward's so slick in his feel, his patience in the pocket. I'm going to go Shedeur here, though.
Okay, Shedeur.
Shedeur is as tough as he was playing in the pocket. That to me was impressive. It really was. His ability to make throws, constantly be under duress. I know he took some sacks and did all that. I get that. But I didn't sit there and go, on a lot of them, I wasn't sitting there going, oh my gosh, how stupid was that? That guy was open and he held it. And it was so many of them were, he drops back, he looks at the first guy, he's not open. Oh, wait, he got to make a move on the second guy. And then maybe, or made a move on the pass rusher. And then, maybe right then you're like, hey, throw it away or just get it away. But he's then trying to break the second guys to make a throw and do that. He takes a sack and stuff like that I can deal with. That to me is not dumb sacks always, right?
Yeah.
If it was sitting there and I was going, damn, the 10-yard out route was open and he turned it down and then held the ball and got sacked, that's when you start to go, hey, that was dumb crap, right? What are you doing there? Mm-hmm. That's when you start to worry about it. But I didn't have problems with that in that department. So, damn, we got a lot of Shador and Cam Ward and Jalen Milroe on this one.
So a couple Cam Ward and maybe the two most important ones with strongest arm, best touch accuracy, and then he's right around number one on every other
He really
metric.
is. I mean, it's tough. It is tough because, like, even again, I gave Jalen Milroe the best throwing on the move ability, but
could have been Cam.
I mean, it could have been Cam. I'm going like full out sprinting on the run type throw. Okay, I'm saying that. But if like it was, jogging, moving in the pocket, I avoid somebody and now I'm just taking a few steps. Cam Ward is like, he's a special wheeler and dealer in that department. He really is. It's Mahomes-ish in how he can do some of that stuff.
But I like this. This illustrates that there are some characteristics with these quarterbacks. While maybe one superstar quarterback, these other guys can do things really well.
Yeah,
I like that.
No doubt. And there's some guys again, like we talked about here too, where there might not be the slam dunk, blah blah blah, but there's guys where you see futures for, there's potential for, and you go, there's a few things here about their game that I really like, and as long as they can clean up a few areas, they can be something in the NFL. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.